You're never gonna see this on any mainstream news.
This ain't what you want, this is what you need.
Ain't never forget.
Yeah, they made us slaves, hung our kids from trees.
I never forget.
Nooses on our neck, whipped us till we bleed.
And they gotta get it.
Hey man, call it Galatians 3:13.
Woo.
You're now tuned in to Precept Upon Precept.
Crew so strange. Look at how low they hang. Oh man, took out the chains. So when the wind blow, we just swing. Much oppression, never killer. Drinking dreams and it's bitter. Ready, set, pull a trigger. Send a postcard, pick a nigga. Damn, we want justice.
You're never gonna.
Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept. We got a TV with an HDMI cable out, but don't worry, we're going to get a new one. It's just a glitch that's bothering the hell out of me right now. Wanted to share that publicly, just like John is still fat. All praise to the Most High. John's the guy in the back. Oh, I'm going to get back to my high school football playing weight. The man's already getting the ARP discount. Anyways, welcome to Precept Upon Precept. We're your hosts. My name's Captain Shim.
Officer Micah.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Solomon.
Hey, like we do before we start the show, the HDMI cable. Before the screen goes off, so Micah, please point to donate to Booster Club, y'all. Text GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 646-982-3858, or take that PayPal icon and donate as the Most High in Christ move your spirit. So, like we do, we got a lot to cover tonight. We probably won't get to everything. And one of our main tech guys just had a baby, so we don't want to keep him up too late tonight. So without further ado, Officer Mike, take it away. Watch my report.
You are now live.
We the sons of God, we don't back down. I'll take it to your face, I tell you right now. Step up to the count, we ain't backing down. Step up to the count, I tell you right now. We the sons of God, we don't backing down. I'll take it to your face,
You are now live.
Hey, Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless. Not going to hold up the show. All praise to the Lord. There's a lot going on in the news, though. Let's get to it. July 8, 2026. U.S., Iran threaten more attacks as strikes continue. Trump attends NATO summit. They still fighting, y'all. It's going down. MOU. Yeah, okay. Next article. Why have U.S.-Iran strikes resumed, and what does it mean for peace? It ain't no peace. Read the book of Thessalonians. It tell you ain't going to be no peace. It's going to be destruction. We praying for it. Hey, excuse me, peace. Ain't no peace. Trump says he doesn't want anything to do with Spain. What about peace? Cut off all trade. That don't sound like a man who's moving who want peace. He cut all trades with Spain. Next article. Strait of Hormuz traffic is near a standstill again. I guess they didn't get the memorandum of understanding. But an analyst say the world has adapted. Yeah, tuna's almost $8 a can. Of course the world adapted. Next article. Trump now claims Iran has already been denuclearized. Wait a minute. First, you can't get ships into the Strait of Hormuz. Now you're saying they nukes is done. So listen to this question. So what was the point of the war? So I thought it wasn't no war. Everything's peaceful. We're going to do great things. So like they know it was a war. This is July 9th. This was like it's a 5-minute read. Check it out. Next article. Trump says Islamic Republic of Japan fired missiles at U.S. ships. I thought they wanted peace. So now Japan is firing at U.S. ships? Islamic Republic of Japan. They say about put some respect on them. And that concludes the Watchman Report.
You are now flying.
We the sons of God, we don't back down. I'll take it to your face, I tell you right now. Step up to the count, we ain't backing down. Step up to the count, I tell you right now. We the sons of God.
All praises. Welcome back. Okay. So the name of the show tonight, shout out to the tech team. The MOU is through and the horns aren't happy. So it's a two-part show. Officer Mike, I was listening to the Watchman Report. We didn't even collaborate. I got a lot of extensive topics that he already covered, so it's going to be great. Mikhail, explain this still and then go into the video.
So as you can see, we got Donald Trump tearing up the memorandum because he said it's through, it's finished, it's done. In the meantime, we have Iran. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the news. Y'all should be. But thousands and thousands of people were in the streets chanting death to America and death to Israel at the funeral. So that's when we got the scene of the funeral. And then in the background, you got the tin horns and you got the EU. So it's going to be an interesting show tonight. Go ahead and play the thumbnail, please.
Wow, all praise. It's like a mini movie right there. So listen, tonight we got basically a three-part show. I want you to remember the funeral, right? Because something happened with this funeral. It made world history, not local history, world of mankind. And that guy in the picture, there's a lot more that most, including myself, I had to get educated, do not understand what he represented, not to the Islamic community alone, but to the entire Arab community at large. He meant a lot to them. Even though he was not an Arab, he meant a lot to the Arabs, and there's a reason why. Okay, let's start at the top with number one. I'm going to show you why did they decide after Donald Trump appeared to yield to the MOU, right? It seemed like they had won. The reason being is because Benjamin Netanyahu and the whole Israeli cabinet are pushing this. Let's go into the character of the Israeli Zionist Jewish man. We got a whole lot. And we're going to let other Caucasians tell you. Now, start with number one, please.
With Chabad rabbis who were skilled.
Pause, I got to set up. This guy is clearly an Edomite, a Caucasian. He is now brother, meaning he's a Christian, but he grew up learning at the foot of rabbis, of Jewish rabbis, not Israelites, Jewish rabbis. Watch what he says about the Kabbalah. Watch what he says about what he learned. He's Jewish, right? Is he anti-Semitic? Let's find out.
Uh-oh.
Play that.
In mystic rites called Kabbalah. Now, Kabbalah is arranged around 10 emanations called Sephirot, 10 stations of the structure of the universe that the initiate passes through are Sephirot. These Sephirot are the basis of the ancient mystery schools based on Kabbalah. In Kabbalah, a secret is taught and experienced in each Sephirot, allowing the Jew to gain advantage over the Goy. In Sephirot Yesod, the Jew is taught that the devil is an illusion that gives the Jew carte blanche to do evil because there's no punishment. In Sephirot Chod, the Jew is taught my will be done, not thy will be done. That prioritizes the Jews' own selfish will over any kind of divine guidance. In Netzah, the Jew is given the key to seducing goys with material temptations, thus gaining victory over them. In Tefereth, there is a
Okay,
mere...
pause. I want to show y'all to see that this is I guess he converted to Christianity, modern day Christianity, and he's showing that basically that the Kabbalah is basically witchcraft, and that is adding to the words of the Torah. The so-called Jewish believe in the Torah, right? They don't believe in the New Testament, but even the Torah tells you you're not supposed to add to the word. So that's is he an anti-Semite because he told the truth about what he used to learn? I think not. Is there any more on that? Play a little bit more, and I'm sorry, I told you to stop. Finish it out. That's my fault because I did tell you this.
There
There you go. Go ahead.
Arranged around 10 emanations called Sephirot, 10 stations of the structure of the universe that the initiate passes through are Sephirot. These Sephirot are the basis of the ancient mystery schools based on Kabbalah. In Kabbalah, a secret is taught and experienced in each Sephirot, allowing the Jew to gain advantage over the Goy. In Sephirot Yesod, the Jew is taught that the devil is an illusion that gives the Jew carte blanche
Pause.
to do evil.
I'm showing you this has got nothing to do with the law, statutes, and commandments, and the prophecies and the understanding given to Moses and the prophets. Get me Deuteronomy 4. What these Jewish Israelis do, they add to the word of God with this Kabbalah. They have other outside sources. Isaiah said the same thing. Of the mating of the books, there is no end. They're not the biblical Israelites. And I have a conversation with this dumb Negro this past Sabbath. He wanted to pull Galatians, and then we went to John 3:16, and I asked him, I said, sir, who were the Jews of the Old Testament? He said, that's not important. I said, well, if we're going to talk about John 3:16, you have to know who Nicodemus, a Jew, a Pharisee, who was he? What was his background? They have no understanding at all. Anyway, so read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them.
Right, and those Israelis, the IDF, the Zionists, they don't do the statutes of God. Read on.
That ye may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you.
Right, like I forget the guy's name, the Egyptian general, said, how is it that the Jews left black and came back white? Everybody knows. The Russians know that. They all know that. Read on.
Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you.
That's all I want. That's what they're doing. So this is the character of Zionism. They don't practice the Torah that they say that they belong to, that is their book.
Hey,
Go.
Kev,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But when you look at and listen to what he was actually saying, it was basically that whole do as thou wilt type of persona. You know, when he was going through and saying about how the Kabbalah and how they do what it is that they want to do, it's crazy.
It's almost, to your point, Officer Solomon, it sounds like it's an offshoot of Christianity. They damn near believe the same thing.
Right.
The law's done away with. He took it to the cross. They just saying the same thing a different way.
Right. Isaiah said don't get it. Isaiah 34:16 said, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it had commanded it, and his spirit it had gathered them. Number one, God's mouth did not command the Kabbalah or any other books that the Jewish man practices. The Jews of the Bible never did that. Jewish people were converts. Their lineage is from the Edomites. Now, pull up the one with Candace Owens. It's perfect timing. Black woman Candace Owens. She used to be a staunch supporter, an unconditional supporter of Zionism, until she began to ask questions and got a lot of backlash. I think this was from the Sean Ryan show. She's interviewed. It's a very good interview. Play that, Candace Owen. I don't know what number. There it is. There it is.
And then they decided that they were going to stop publishing the books that said that actually they were the missing Khazarian Empire, because that's who they are. That's why they have deep hatred for Russia, because Russia put an end to the Khazarian Empire. So my conspiracy theory, to jump onto yours, is that they're doing all of this and then they're going to take Russia. Like they've got beef with, actually it was two countries that took out the Khazarian Empire. It was Russia and Persia. So maybe history will repeat itself. Maybe we will be saved from this satanic curse from the Iranian people, the Persians, and the Russians, because it's very obvious. I mean, like I said, that's why they had to get all of these books after World War II. It was like a great reset. They didn't want anybody to know anything about.
I want you to listen to what she's about to say. Number one, they killed Charlie Kirk because he started to bring influential people and question Zionism and the acts of the Israeli government, right? There are death threats on Tucker Carlson. She is on their list. There's a certain number of people that have influenced. It's not going to happen maybe like Charlie Kirk. I prayed, and this is our prayer for Candace. Candace is married to Esau. She's got a lot to overclear. But this sister is sharp, and she doesn't have the spirit of fear when it comes to unleashing things about the Israelis. But our prayer for her, this sister, is she repent, wake up, keep the commandments of God, and in repentance, she would have to separate and that's a lot to ask someone. We pray that she's a mighty woman in the world. For these people are powerful. She's not no chump. She got a nice house, nice car. She got money. So for her to come out of that, it's a lot. That is our prayer. So just keep this in mind. What she's about to talk about is this. Jewish people attempted to change Russian history through their book manipulation. Now, later on, I'm going to show you what they did the same thing to others. Play on.
History, they started taking Russian books and translating them, meaning editing them into various languages in the West, just to put up this wall. So our understanding of history is so backwards. That's why they are so anti people going into Russia, because you can find these original books that they translated, and you can learn real.
And I know somebody must have been thinking of it on the show. This is why when a lot of black people learned about the Russian icon and the books from the vault, quote unquote, when Vladimir Putin showed them. And people got mad about that. And there's in Russian, they're different type of white people over there, a little bit different. They're not going to hide certain things. There's a time when it showed Putin going in and out of a building area. I think it was a Russian Catholic priest or something like that. And in the background, you could see black art. You could see it. So I think Bishop showed that, or one of the deacons showed that on one of the shows.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
One of the things when it comes to the Russians, you're right. They are a different type of people. I spend a lot of time around those people. I spent like 3 years around them.
Okay.
And they're upfront. They, you know what I'm saying, they're forthright, and they're still Edomites. They still are, but they just a little different. It's kind of hard to explain. But when you said that, it made me think about my experience with them.
So they're the lesser of the evils. They're the lesser. But I'm gonna tell you, black art it's not going to be denied. So, play the rest of that, please. And like I said, Michael, y'all can jump at any time. You see something, a point, you want to bring it out. Okay.
These are the facts. This is the Khazarian Empire reassembled. That's what Israel is. They are not Jewish. They are not the Jews of the Bible.
The one thing that she's not saying is who the Jews really are. That's our job, though. Right. That's our job. That's and right. The Jews are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that are scattered throughout the diaspora. That's the part that they don't want y'all to know. They're fine with y'all saying, oh, they're not the real Jews, but they'll never tell you who the real Jews are.
Right. Yes, sir, Mike?
Oh, I was gonna say, just by her saying that, she puts a bullseye on her back. Yep. by her just saying that they're not the Jews, because Cap was saying it. She has a pretty good following just by her saying that. You think people ain't paying attention to what she's saying? And what her research team is like, they on point.
Remember, she got fired from that. I forget what program she was on. Candace Owen is known, and a lot of white folks respect her because she talks in a conservative manner, and she was all for the Israelis. Now, she said something heavy. She said a lot of the Jewish people, when I say Jewish, by the way, there's a split in the Jewish nation, meaning this. Right before October 7th, before allegedly the wall dropped, no one had the M16s up, no one was guarding the wall, and they flew in on hang gliders, which they were told to stand down, by the way. You do realize that they were at the brink of a civil war, and Benjamin Netanyahu was getting threatened to be ousted from office. And remember, we did show up to show. You cannot, during a time of war, you would not be able to get out a prime minister or president during time of war. He knew all of that. This is why he has to have war to stay in. He's an international criminal that's wanted. Now, Candace Owens said something. She said, the Jewish people take a step back. So there are Jewish people throughout the world that are condemning what the Israeli government are doing. There are also Caucasians, and they are condemning it. They said that that will never happen, that Zionism has got nothing to do with being Jewish, which it's true. But even amongst the Jewish people, some in New York City are Zionists, some are not. There's a split amongst them. They're not even fully united. The power comes from these evangelical Christians in their support and allowing of voting in these candidates that will receive the money from the AIPAC. Anyways, long tangent. Go to number 6. She said something about they tried to rewrite Russian history so it creates a gap where you don't go to Russia. It's bad. They try to frame it as very negative. They're commies. They're evil, right? And these are the Edomites. Now watch what they did. The same thing with Esau. Did the same thing. Esau, meaning Amalek, meaning the Jewish man, tried to do the same thing with Arab books. Check this out. Number 6. It's a Facebook.
And they edit the textbooks in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, even in Egypt, in all of these Muslim countries, that their textbooks are being edited by this organization, Israel. And they put out reports. They say, like, in your textbook, you're too harsh against Israel. Like, you're too harsh against Israel. That has to be changed.
And so the Zionist Jews will say you're anti-Semitic if you say that Jews, not Jews, because we're the Jews, but they say that Jewish people control the media. How is it possible that, well, if they control the media outlets, that also includes periodicals, magazines, and textbooks and encyclopedias. If they control all those companies, they can disclose, take out, and change what they want those populations of Arabs to learn. Iran wasn't allowing none of that. That's why they kept their culture. This is why the GCC countries like Kuwait, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia, because they get in bed and do sweetheart deals with trillions of dollars with oil money, guess what? They're allowing these people to do that to their Arab children. He's telling you that. They manipulate Arab children's textbooks. So they don't own, they run this earth. Along with Esau, the least of the flock, the white man, whether he's a Jewish white man, Russian white man, but predominantly in this time is the white man in the United States and the Israeli. They run the earth and they control everything of power. Because if it wasn't the case, how the hell would Arabs allow this? How would they allow it? There's 6 million so-called Jewish. That's what they say, right? 6, 7 million. There's almost 2 billion Arabs in the greater region. Let's call it 1 billion. 1 billion Arabs in the whole Arabian Peninsula. And you don't have the power to get your own media companies? I'm telling you, God set these people up. All right, play on.
Change. That's bigotry. That's anti-Semitism. Oh, and in this textbook, you're citing the Quran being against There's a Israeli organization called Impact, and they edit.
Pause. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look up the organization called Impact.
Impact, APAC.
Impact. Let's dig a little bit, because they have the power in an Arab country called Saudi Arabia to control what Arab children read about their history, and their history has been brutalized, manipulated by Jewish people, by Caucasians, and you control what they learn. You have no power. They have no power. Read that. Impact. I just threw this at them. I don't expect them to get it right away.
It's the same thing here with CRT, critical race theory, where they want to erase history because they don't want certain people to feel a certain way. And guess what? Who owned all the slaves in America too? The books are starting to show it was Jewish people.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
Hey, while you wait for that, get number 3 with Idi Amin. So this is Idi Amin on a canoe like in the 70s or 80s. And he's being interviewed by an American journalist. And he's been put on the spot about why did he kick the Israelis out of his country. I'm telling you, any black man that stands up like Burkina Faso, a lot of these black men that stood up against colonial powers were murdered. Get number 3. Is that what it is? Idi Amin.
Then you change completely from an Israeli alliance to the Arab alliance.
I changed from Israeli alliance because Israeli are criminals and that they are not trusted people. They don't tell the world the truth. They were
Pause.
taken.
So check this out. I want to see if those of you who follow us, right, and the brothers on the panel, you don't think that Idi Amin heard about the Israelis shooting the hell out of the USS Liberty? You don't think that was part of his decision? And a lot of Americans didn't figure that out. It was 1967, so it took almost 59 years for some American citizens to figure out that the Israelis torpedoed a USS naval vessel and attacked and murdered and machine gun fired the ship. Officer Mike used to give out awards in the Army, and he was telling us that if a Silver Star goes out, there is
that goes all the way up to the Secretary of Defense, if I remember correctly. It's a certain level of authorization that's required to hand out an award like that. And it's not he did good in the battle. It's about, I think when I last saw it, it was like 5 paragraphs, and some of it had a continuation sheet where you had to write detailed, if you handed out this type of decoration, what that soldier did. And they want to know when it happened, who was the enemy, what time. It was detailed. And if it didn't have enough information, Solomon, you can jump in. If it didn't have enough information, it would get kicked back. It would get red inked and kicked back, and they say, rewrite it.
Yep.
And so they didn't even put who the enemy was. And this is how we know. Remember, Lyndon B. Johnson called the birds back. They were going to reinforce the U.S. Liberty. They called them. The reinforcement jets or helicopters had to turn back around. And admirals, they were pissed about it. There's a guy right now named Thomas Massey. He stood up and he talked about, we showed him 3-4 weeks ago in the show. He actually is running for president. And I saw an ad with a guy that's a survivor of the USS Liberty, and he's burning the Israeli flag. Guess what? He's a white guy. So a survivor of a foreign attack on a USS vessel, he's anti-Semitic? I'm telling you, more of these Edomites are going to wake up, and the Third World War is coming, y'all. And the least of the flight, they're leading the U.S. out into a big open plain where everybody's going to be against them. Is there more on Idi Amin? All right, get Impact, and we'll go hold Idi Amin. This is Impact. This is that organization.
Impact, SC, Institute for Monitoring Peace and Cultural Tolerance in School Education. It is not a standard corporation with owners. It is an independent, nonpartisan, nonprofit research and policy organization. It operates as a registered NGO led by CEO Marcus Sheff and a governing board of directors.
I'm not going to go too much deep. I'd like to know what Marcus Sheff's background is. Because if you're a nonprofit, you don't have to report any profits. But if you have funding and you could control certain things, and let's just say you do work for free, you can also manipulate people. Hey, we'll take care of these textbooks for you. We'll give you all new textbooks for all your students. And there's a way you can make it alluring. We're not going to charge you. We just would like to help kids. And then they change all of that. And if people are not strong enough to catch it or stand up to it, you got that?
Marcus Sheff's background. He was a political reporter at The Nation, an editor at the Jerusalem Post, and a foreign correspondent before heading the Word Shop and strategic communications firm. For a decade, he worked for Dow Jones International and Advanced Star Incorporated.
Look him up on Wikipedia. I want to see early life. There you go. There you go. Yep, right down there. When Job said the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, during the time of Egypt, they controlled all of that. During the time today, Esau is in control. If you have the power to rewrite Arab textbooks that are critical of Israeli truth of what they did and what their history is. If I'm an Arab in Saudi Arabia, don't you think I would want to know about 1948 and the Nakba?
Right.
If I'm a Saudi Arabian Arab, the Arabs in Palestine are my brothers. They're not far away from me. You don't think I would want to know about other Arab history? Sure I would. But if they're going to be a nonprofit organization and they can control textbooks and rewrite and put what they want to put out, I'm telling you, there's some wicked stuff right here. Play? There we go.
Marcus Sheff, born in 1963, is an Israeli-British nonprofit.
Read it. Sam, you're reading too fast. Let's not add words to that. Read it again. Sorry.
Marcus Sheff, born 1963, is an Israeli-British nonprofit executive officer, former media executive and journalist.
Let's go down to his early life and education.
Sheff was born in Whitefield, Manchester, United Kingdom in 1963, in a Jewish family. His late father, Alan, a dentist, was president of the Whitefield Hebrew congregation. His mother, Sylvia, was a recipient of the MBE.
So just to be clear, when it's like an onion, when you peel back the layers, you're going to find the same concept. Why would we make this stuff up? Why would people go to do videos? Because it's all coming out, and now prominent conservative Republicans like a Candace Owens, who I don't agree with everything she says, like a Tucker Carlson, like Charlie Kirk was probably arguably the most influential young Republican. They are going against this Israeli government because God is going to divide this whole thing. He has to. But it's not going to take the foot off the gas. The Israelis are going to still keep bombing Iran. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, Kev.
Yes, sir.
So can you put that back up, please? It mentioned something along the lines of Soviet Jews when it came to his mother. She led a campaign to free Soviet Jews. Weren't those books, those educational books, in regards to talking about the Russians?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So
because remember, here's the thing. Now, we're going down another path, but I'm glad you brought it up. So do you know that during the alleged Holocaust, right? Well, and I could say that because if you're going to actually put any credence or any type of empathy to the Holocaust, that let's just say it had 6 million Jewish, right? Okay, Caucasian Jewish. So then the 100 million on the transatlantic slave trade, 200 million, probably a quarter of a billion people that died. You don't give any reference to that. So anyway, let's just say there's 6 million Jewish people that died. Do you know what they don't talk about during the World War II? Is that Look up the number of Russian soldiers that died. They minimize this. The number of white Russian soldiers that died in World War II was astro-friggin-nomical in comparison to the number of Jewish people that died in the Holocaust. And that's one thing they tried to take out of the mind of American people. Type in, what is the number of Russians that died during World War II? It's gonna blow your mind. I want to say it was millions and millions.
Between 8.6 and 8.7 million Soviet soldiers died during World War II.
So let's just say, okay, you give the Jewish men, which many white scholars disagree with that, and they think it was less than 1 million. But let's just say you give them 6 million. So that means that the Russian soldiers mathematically had about 38 to 42% more people that died. How come you hear nothing about Russian empathy? Russian, where's that? Didn't they fight to liberate the Jewish people? Russia was on the same side as the U.S. and England during World War II. Remember, Germany and Japan were the enemy. So where's about the Russian soldiers that died? A lot more of them died, according to their numbers. So keep that, I'm telling you. This, when you said about the Soviet Jews,
yes, sir.
What they'll do is they minimize everything Russian. Because remember, Candace said, the Russian Empire, they destroyed the Khazarian Empire.
Right.
Now, I don't want, we're going to keep up. Go back to Idi Amin. Listen, in 1974, Idi Amin kicked out the Israeli Jewish Zionists, and he brought in Arabs, which is the lesser of the evils, but play it again.
Palestine as refugees, and then they changed Palestine to become a state of Israel by force of arms given to them by Americans and the British.
But is it true that you said Hitler didn't kill enough Jews during the war?
Pause. So he's laughing because you know why? I think he knew he was going to die. Because he's on the boat with this guy, right? And the guy's trying to box him in on, and he knows he's on camera because he wants to get him to say something so they can label this guy. And he's laughing. He's like, here he goes again. I'm on the boat with the damn devil himself. And this was 52 years ago. Okay? And he's a high-ranking officer. He got some jump wings, bunch of medals. That's a general. He got some stars up there. He might be a general or something like that, man. I can't tell from his, look at his black
shoulders.
I think them are stars. I could be mistaken. Play on.
Why do you ask me about Hitler? The Hitler's problem is now past tense. Now we are looking forward for the future generations and the future plan. We are no longer going back to Hitler's. You see, the war of Hitler, it was a different war than the war today.
Okay. Before we move on, all right, so y'all check that organization Impact. Y'all check it for yourself. Go to let me show you about the character of September. Let's look at some Israeli, they were spies. And they were actually celebrating during the destruction of American Twin Towers. Type in number 5, the dancing Israelis. They were Mossad agents that were caught after September 11th. Watch this.
9/11 and the dancing Israelis and how that contributed to Christians and Muslims being pitted against each other right now by the very group who is behind 9/11. You need to check this out. And you might want to save this video, by the way.
Began when this woman was watching the Twin Towers burning from her apartment in New Jersey. She noticed
so pause real quick. Those of you who don't know about the Northeast, Jersey is separated by a river. If you're high enough, you could actually see out your balcony the Twin Towers in New York, which is a state away, but you can see it. It's right there. She was watching the towers burn. So as she's doing it, she's taking the binoculars out. This is June, what was it? 20.
That's got to be wrong.
It couldn't be a year later. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
that's wrong. But
yeah.
it had to be September 11th when she was.
Yeah, something's. But anyways, so she's and this is actually an investigation. These people were arrested and everything. So she's taken a video or binoculars because she wants it, and then she sees something that she goes later on. She reports it, and this was in the media. Alex Jones talked about it. But then it lost steam. Play.
Men on top of a van posing for pictures with the towers burning in the background.
And I could see that they were like happy, you know. They
okay, I see what's going on. This is ABC airing it June 21st, 2002. So this is about 8-9 months later, right? September. So you got to figure September. So this is 02 was being aired. She was looking out. She said, "This is what I was doing. I went over here and this is what I saw." So just so you know, the date is not replicated. This did not happen on June 21st. She's being recorded on this day, showing what she did at that time. Play.
They didn't look shocked to me. You know, they didn't look shocked.
The witness called police, who stopped the van hours later and arrested 5 men. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli. They were turned over.
Stop. See their names? It gives their names. Savan Kuzberg, Paul Kuzberg, Yaron Shemuel, Oded Elner. I can't see that part.
E-I-L-N-E-R-L.
These are the equivalent of the U.S. Let me paint it. Let me paint a picture for you, right? That's like if 5 U.S. CIA guys were over in Germany, and Germany had a major attack, and they were doing that. It would be treated as crazy. Watch what they say about these 5 Mossad agents that were celebrating the destruction of the Twin Towers. Watch what happens to them. Play.
To the FBI. Sources tell ABC News during a check of national security databases, some of the men were listed as having had connections with Israeli intelligence. The men said they were just taking pictures at the time. They said they worked for a company called Urban Moving. The FBI obtained a search warrant for the company's offices. Not long after the arrests, the offices of Urban Moving were simply abandoned. Almost everything was left behind.
Think about that. If I'm a Mossad agent and I have to have an exit strategy, you create a front business, and then you could actually have the business just be a room or a couple of rooms with a couple of boxes so that it looks like it was an actual business, and then you get the word, you get your free phone call, boom, this will happen, boom, boom. There's a whole code. They go clean everything out. Now there's no trace. Now there's no trace. The federal FBI investigated this. Here's my point. Why aren't those guys, why wasn't that all over the news at the time? Why wasn't that looked into? And again, it goes back to if they can destroy the USS Liberty and get away with it, they can do anything they want, and the U.S. is going to wink at them and send them home and just cover everything up. Okay? Play on.
In jail, the 5 Israelis were repeatedly interrogated and given lie detector tests.
Yuval Aviv is a counterterrorism advisor to the U.S. Congress, but was once a spy for Israel's Secret Service Mossad. He says Urban Moving was a front company for Israeli intelligence.
According to the FBI, 2 of those movers were identified as Mossad agents.
The driver of the moving van, Sivan Kurzberg. We are Israeli. We are not your problem. Your problems are our problems. The Palestinians are the problem.
FBI reports confirmed that the men were not taking somber pictures of a horrific event. When their 76 pictures were developed, they revealed the men had indeed been celebrating, smiling, hugging each other, and high-fiving. One of the pictures even featured Sivan Kurzberg holding a lighter up with the burning tower in the background. They lied to the police about where they had been that morning. They were carrying plane tickets for immediate departure to different places around the globe. The FBI confirmed that 2 of the men had ties to Israeli intelligence and came to suspect that they had indeed been on a mission for the Mossad. The FBI reports show how the men gave confused and often conflicting accounts of when and how they learned about what was happening and when they arrived at the parking lot. Oded Elner even said they had arrived there shortly after 8 a.m., which would have been 45 minutes before the attacks even began.
Pause, and this is why a lot of these Edomite influencers that are like Tucker Carlson have a problem with AIPAC, because if there's so much power politically, this is why these people got a pass and got to go back to Israel with no charges, no major. They should have been in jail the rest of their life in this country. What they did was, what's the term when they do, is it espionage? I forget what it's called. When you do, it's not traitor if you're from that country, but if you go to another country, I can't remember what it's called, it's a major charge. If Americans went to do that in China or Malaysia or Japan, you're not leaving that country. Some countries that might execute you for that. So this is the character of these people. A lot of you may not know that. There's 5 Mossad agents. Think about it. You're taking a picture of the towers and you act like you're lighting on fire. You're jumping up and down. Everybody in America was solemn. I remember where I was getting ready to go to work. We all remember where we were. We didn't know I wasn't in the troop at the time. It was horrible. We're like, damn, they attacked the U.S. American flags and people were crying. Nobody was celebrating. These guys should have been locked up and the key should have been thrown away. That shows you how much power the AIPAC and these Jewish organizations have with the U.S. government, to the point where the FBI has files like, this is the front, lock them up. They get the call, let them go. You got to see, this is the character of these folks. Next one. Go to number, I'm sorry, I got to go back here. We're going to go to break soon. I'm going to show you how these people are. Get number 2. This is, there's a famous doctor, a Palestinian doctor, who is actually a leader of doctors. He's not like, so at a hospital, you may have different, you have nurses, you have physician's assistants, you have doctors. Then you have board surgeons and other doctors that are in control and run all the other doctors. This is this guy. He's a top guy. And look what the Israelis are doing to this guy. It's a short video.
So he's probably like the chief of surgery or something like that.
Yes. He's a hospital director. Listen to this, y'all. You need more time? It's number 2. Okay. All right.
And back to those 5 spies. If them brothers, if they were a different skin complexion, we wouldn't even be reading about this. There wouldn't be no audio, none of that. They clearly said, well, none of their stories matched up, but yet they free. They probably drove them to the airport, dropped them off. Yeah, y'all need a ride. Take them to the airport and drop them off.
Police escort,
right,
with the sirens on.
Exactly. Probably took them to get something to eat and everything.
I was just thinking.
They're in the back seat saying, "Look, don't put no pork on my food. Give me double quarter pounder.
Make sure it's kosher."
Right.
Wait a second, it has to be kosher.
Right.
Come on, man. Oh, you can't pull up Sky Video? Yes, there it is. Is it an article? The video. Okay. 318.
Why he's being held without charges? We believe that now, after a year and a half, the Israeli authorities are afraid of the voice of Dr. Hussam.
Dr. Hussam Abu Safir became a familiar figure in the first year of the war in Gaza. The director of the Kamal Adwan Hospital, he was hailed by many for saving lives, for keeping going while war raged, and for speaking out, including
Look at the background.
On Sky News.
Wait a minute, am I correct seeing this? He's in his scrubs out on the street.
Yep.
So he's a champion of the people is what he is.
Right.
And what's probably going on, we've got history to prove it, the Israelis are probably hurting this guy. And if he's got a lot of credibility in the international community. They probably don't want to let him go because all the atrocities that he's probably seen, he's probably hurt prisoners, he's probably been around these things. They're holding him without charge. He's a doctor. certain things you're not supposed to do, like attack emergency medical responders in war, which is really, you're not supposed to kill reporters. They have done that and more. Now, a guy that was over a director of a hospital that can help to heal people, they kidnap him, because that's what it is. If you're not being held with charges, then you're kidnapped. You stole the guy. Okay.
Well, I wonder who they learned that from.
Same people that snatched up the Venezuelan president.
Maduro.
Yep.
Exactly. Play on.
And for speaking out, including on Sky News.
I am Dr. Hussam Abu Safia. I am speaking from operation room from Kamal Adwan hospitals. I speaking with and we are suffering.
هذا هو حالنا، يوم صعب، يوم دموي، يوم قاسي على مستشفى كمال عدوان.
He continued operating while his hospital was under siege for 85 days.
Pause. A lot of these are children in those beds. Look at that child, 10, 12 years old. Tens of thousands of children. Now, he's not a dead one. He has a serious injury. He may be maimed for life. He may have problems for the rest of his life. And they kidnap a guy for 18 months that is a leader of leaders. And this is making news. All these things that the Israelis are gonna have to answer for. And guess what? Nobody is pressing them internationally. Nobody can do anything about it. God will not allow nobody to touch these Israelis until it's time. Play on.
Wounded children. His work going on even after his own son had been killed by an Israeli airstrike. But Israel accused Abu Safia of assisting Hamas fighters. He was arrested 18 months ago and has been in prison ever since without ever being charged with a crime. This is the most recent image we have of him, appearing remotely at a court hearing last month. His lawyer claims Abu Safia has been tortured and is now close to death. His family are reeling. How worried are you that your father could die in jail?
عندما قال والدي للمحامي هذه ربما ستكون المرة الأخيرة التي ستراني فيها وربما ستكون هذه النهاية وجاءوا بي لقتلي هنا.
Pause. I want to stop here. I want you to understand, just try to imagine, you got to figure, your dad, he's probably say 35 years old, 30 years old. He was there when his dad was finishing up school, missing late nights. He was there. He saw his father helping people out. He saw what his father meant to the community. And now his father's kidnapped. Imagine if your father was kidnapped. Here's my point. That his son is Arab. That's an Arab man. You don't think that all these stories, his father kidnapped, they killed my baby brother, this guy, there's hundreds of thousands of stories. We did the math. They killed over 20% of the Palestinian population. We did the math on like 4 or 5 shows ago. These are the stories that are going to line up that these Arabs are going to uprise. So the rewriting of the Arab textbooks, they can't do it in the social media era. You can't do that now. In the 60s and 70s and 80s, it was easy to rewrite a textbook. It's harder for them to do their disinformation campaigns now. Drop that. We got to go to break. Let's go to break. Upside. I know we're a little running behind. Y'all stick around, y'all. When we come back, we're going to show you what happened, what this man, the supreme leader, meant to Iran, and show you the largest human funeral and gathering in the history of the world. Micah brought that out in a Watchman report. The largest gathering of human beings in one place ever in recorded history. Trump got some bad information. Y'all stick around. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom Israel. No sign Christ bless. Why do you subscribe? IUIC New Orleans, subscribe. Go to our YouTube page. Help us to grow. Comment, like, share. What's going on? Make it happen.
It's that time, more, everybody cellular. Tell them I just hold on. So bright you can hide her. So bright you like that just kind of.
Thousands gathered, committing sin. But in the midst of it all, came the prophets of God.
We came with the word, we came with the light. Calling our people, wake up tonight.
Right. Yes, we work. We are ex-drug dealers. We are ex-gangbangers. Right. We changed our lives, sis, and you can change yours.
American bubble. Right. This American bubble that have black women thinking that they're accepted in this society. This American bubble that have black men thinking that they're accepted with everybody. Not knowing, but they all hate you.
We have no power as a people. This is where our power lies. We are the Israelites. Israel means a prince that has power with God.
See us all over the news, seeing us being nothing, nobodies, but God says you are a temple of God. How am I bearing? Be strong in the Lord. His word is right. His word is right. His word is right. His word is right. Yeah!
Turn me up. This that pressure talk. I've been through the fire, I ain't fold, 10 toes down, never sold. God with me, that my code. Came out clean, came out gold. I've been through the fire, I ain't break. Everything lost, still got faith. They counted me out, their mistake.
I'm answering the question. All nations Greeks. On yes or no? Isaac don't have to be Greek.
They just see me where I'm at, pay hit deep. I ain't.
Many times, people that come to the camp, they want to learn, but they want to try to match. You tell me something, I tell you something. After I told the brother, look, you got to humble down. Let us show you the scriptures. And after he saw that it was an opportunity for him to learn, he humbled his spirit down and went to the scriptures. Earlier, there was a man who was misunderstanding Galatians 3, which also goes hand in hand with John 3:16, that God did not come to deal with all nations and all races. Once we explained it to him, we showed him the Bible in an environment where he could learn, we won him over. And then, you know what, at the end of the day, he said, thank you for teaching me, because he humbled his spirit. Some men, they don't have the ability to humble down, they can't be taught. So even men like that, we have to still try to deal with, because at the end of the day, they don't know anything. We have the truth, it's up to us to show them.
So again, the title of tonight's show is the MOU is through, and the 10 horns. Well, the horns aren't happy, but that's going into the 10 horns, the European Union. So we're going to get into the second half of the show, and we're going to talk about Iran and its funeral, the Ayatollah's funeral.
Speaking of the Ayatollah's funeral, I want you to pull number 8. This guy, this Edomite, George Galloway, is his own people can't stand him, the powers that be. He's a British, he lived in Britain. He can't even go back home because in Great Britain, where he lives, because of what he said about the Israeli government, which is a country that's way far away from England, showing you the power that these, the influence they have. Number 8, George Galloway, about Dr. Saeed.
A tidal wave of black begins to turn red in Tehran as 10 million people mourn the martyred leader of the Islamic Revolution and a leader of 200 million Shiite Muslims around the entire world, and probably the leader of many, many more who don't so identify, is finally now in the middle of the funeral of Dr. Syed Khamenei. And Donald Trump makes a hash of America's 250th birthday party. as only he can do. No doubt he made a profit. He probably bought some shares in the fireworks that he wasted so much of the American taxpayers' money by exploding, perhaps
I want you to go
appropriately.
back to the beginning, not so much to listen, but I want you to look at the crowd. So the crowd, also Micah brought it out on the Watchman Report. This is, even the U.S. News couldn't misreport this. This was the largest gathering of human beings in the history of the planet Earth. Almost 10 million people. Now, those 10 million people, guess what they have in common? They all have the same religion, and they all saw this leader as someone that stood up against the imperial power of the United States of America. That's what united. And guess what? During the first day of the war, not the 12-day war, but when they attacked again, he stayed in his house. The other guys wanted him to, let's move you on the ground. He said, nope. He stayed in his house on purpose and became the first major martyr of that war on purpose because he knew what it was going to do to the Iranian people. Now, later on, we're going to show you why. He said his name was Doctor. Matter of fact, let's get that right now. The last thing I sent you was Professor Morandi. Also, I think George Galloway was interviewing Morandi. And we're going to learn, go to the second timestamp. We're going to learn why this guy was reverenced so much. And he was a PhD, he had a doctorate. And the things that I didn't know about, he was loved amongst Arabs, amongst Iranians, and the Islamic world at large. This is one of the reasons. Second timestamp of exact. Yes, sir. Good job.
Iranians as one, but it has shown the world, the rest of the world, that had been told otherwise, that the Iranians are one. And this must affect the dynamics of what comes next in negotiations or in war.
Oh, absolutely, George. First of all, I think Ayatollah Khamenei was, when you speak about moderates, I think that the real moderation was what he was. And that being revolutionary is being moderate. But he was a man of culture, and I know you know this, but I'm saying it for your audience. He spoke 4 languages. He was a man of literature. His Persian was excellent, and his command of Persian literature excellent. His command of Azadi literature.
Keep in mind, Professor Morandi is a professor. So here's a professor that understands English literature. Of course, he understands Persian because he's an Iranian. He's talking about, and this is why when the Mossad says about he makes the lowest of state, a lot of these other leaders are a lot smarter than, like, well, Obama was a statesman, George Bush, the dumb one, the old one, stupid, Bill Clinton getting head in the Oval Office, smoking weed but didn't inhale, Ronald Reagan was an actor. This guy was a doctor who spoke 4 languages, understood. He was a heavily cultured individual. This is why people from all around the earth are mourning him right now. And what we're going to find out next is they're all calling for something.
Hey, Cap,
bring it up.
He spoke 4 languages, and Donald Trump can't speak 1.
Right.
And also, to go deeper, right? Look at how many people are mourning for him.
Yeah.
A lot of black. That's how I know black people watch. When black people pass away, they usually just show up to the funeral to see what they can get. They already ransacking the house. Well, I'm taking this. I'm taking the car. They not doing none of that. They sincerely care, and they're unified behind the death of this man right here.
I'm gonna show you how much. Hold that thought. I know you got something good to say. Check this out. Do you know that when Iraq could not afford to pay for oil and other important commodities, that the Ayatollah still sent the product over knowing they couldn't pay? Why? It's going to tell you, he was fluent in Arabic. So even though he was an Iranian, the Arab community loved him for what they did. Iraq was oppressed. They had sanctions. And so here's the thing. Get me 2 Ezra 15. What I always think about this. What is going to make all these Arabs unite into one force to come out together? The white man rewrote their textbooks. You got 6 million so-called Israelis and their influential power over the United States controlling over 1 billion Arabs' everyday lives. The Palestinians are living in an outdoor concentration camp, tens of thousands of women, men, and innocent children being slaughtered, more of them being maimed like we saw in the hospital. Doctors who are being accused of supporting Hamas are kidnapped for a year and a half. Major societal heroes because they're allowed to do this. This has to happen for the Arabs to truly get it. It's going to get to the point where all these Arabs are going to be on the same page. It's going to get worse. If you thought this is bad enough, read that.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 28.
We read this every other week. It's very, if you think about it, we just read about the Ayatollah Khomeini, right? The largest gathering in human history. We now know that the man spoke fluent Arabic. So when he went to Saudi, when he went to Jordan, guess what he could do with the leaders? Talk to them. Trump and all these American presidents, none of them could do anything like that. Nothing like that. Read, sorry.
Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
That means death. A horrible vision is it's not something that's good. From the east, that means over there in the Middle East. Read.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia.
Why would he say the nations of the dragons of Arabia? Remember, Ishmael was like a wild man, right? Because you have Ishmaelites who are in Yemen, Oman, Iraq. Okay, you have Jordan, United Arab Emirates. You have friggin' Palestine. You have Lebanon that's getting bombarded right now. Who else do you have? Saudi Arabia. Turkey has some Arabs there, you're right. And not to mention all of the other peoples, some Turks, the Iranians, the underlying religion is Islam. So all of them are against what's going on from the United States of America. Read on.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots.
So if they're coming out, that means they got to form together. If the nations, they're not going to come out, one nation do their own thing. No, they're coming out together as one mind. Read on.
And the multitude of them
coming out together, the multitude together.
Then the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth.
Swift. Read on.
That all they which hear them
right.
may fear and tremble.
Right. Because guess what? These Edomites are going to say, all them Arabs we killed, they're not taking it no more, and they actually all joined together. We can't trick them no. We can't divide them anymore. Read on.
Also, the Carmanians.
That's the present-day Persians, a.k.a. Iranians. Read on.
Raging in wrath.
Raging in wrath. Why? They're going to be they're the heroes right now. All the Arabs, I don't know if you remember this a couple of shows ago, they showed missiles going over the Bahrain and striking U.S. bases. The citizens that lived in Bahrain were all cheering the destruction of the U.S. base, and they live in Bahrain. So what do you think they're doing in Qatar? What do you think they're doing in Saudi Arabia? The elites are probably less than 0.5% of the whole pop. What about the other 99% of the Arabs? These people are sick and damn tired. The Carmanians are the heroes right now. They're standing up, and it's going to be more and more slaughter and torture and innocent Palestinian kids getting murdered for all these Arabs to come together, stand up, and finally have the same mind. Okay? Where were we at? I'm talking too much. Where were we at?
They had an article. I don't know if our people remember when they raised that flag after they killed Soleimani. Mm-hmm. These Israelis, they're not just bombing the guy that comes to pick up the trash. They're taking out very, very high-ranking officials that have the same beliefs. And so what do the people see? They're like, well, okay, and their mindset is probably this. If you'll take out Soleimani, who's a general, You'll take out this guy who's a doctor. Then they'll take me out with no problem. So that's going to unite them. They are going to be united.
Right.
Hey,
bring it out.
I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
Cap. But Officer Micah made mention about something, and actually, Cap, you mentioned something about this. The Khomeini, he actually stayed in his house.
They can't hear you.
He actually stayed in his house, right? Y'all said something about how he stayed in his house
On purpose.
On purpose, right? So he did something that he knew. He knew that something was going to happen. So basically, what he did was he became a martyr on purpose, right? And as we read the definition of a martyr, it says is an individual who suffers persecution, severe hardship, or death rather than renounce their religion, beliefs, principle, or cause. The cause is because they know how wicked and evil the West is. They know how wicked and evil the Israelis are. You know, and they see and know that all this stuff that's happening, he said, okay, well, and basically in the spirit, the Most High is making all of this come together because it has to come to pass.
Facts.
So,
hey, I like the way you said that, because that's exactly the way they feel. All 10 million. Here's the other thing. Imagine 10 million people get around like that. You know, some probably had to go to the bathroom so doggone bad. They probably didn't give a damn.
Right.
Some of them probably got dehydrated. They did. It's hot over there. It ain't cool over there. It's hot. Those people suffered because they wanted to be together, and they all had the same mind.
Right.
Now watch this. This is more acts. Go to the one where it says the Palestinian children's lives. Number 10. Here's an example of Palestinian Arabs' daily life. You can't tell me if I'm a Yemenis Arab, if I'm a Jordanian Arab, a Lebanese Arab, a Omanian Arab, a doggone Iraqi Arab, a Kuwaiti Arab, a Bahraini Arab, a United Arab Emirates Arab, an Arab that's from New York City that has lived in New York for 30. You can't tell me he ain't mad as hell when he watched this. Watch this. No, I'm not mad. I know it's of God. And I know that what blacks and Native Americans have been through, you can't touch what they're going through. We were slaughtered by the millions. Play this. Is that it? It's not a video. Number 10 should have a short video. Yes, this is it. Thank you, bro. So look at
summer.
Real quick. This is one of the streets that's not totally bombed, but in the back you see the building. It used to be a taller building. Okay, about 2 o'clock. Look at these are the Palestinians that are living in that. All those buildings, most of them are condemned, by the way. All right, watch what she's reporting.
Hundreds of thousands of children are spending their holidays and displacement camps after another school year disrupted by the war. And instead of playgrounds,
they're living in the tents, not the buildings, because the buildings are condemned. They're unsafe. Here's my point. Like about 3 years ago, we did a show, 2.5 years ago, and the Egyptians, who are Arabs, their whole football stadium was talking about free Palestine. Free Palestine. So you got the whole country of northern Egypt are Arabs. You got all these people, Erdogan and the Turks, who are Islamic. They are opposed to all. Later on, I won't have time to get to it. But Erdogan just gave a gift to all these NATO leaders, and I think it's symbolic. Just look what's going on. Play on.
many spend their days collecting water, searching for food, and gathering firewoods or cardboard for cooking fires, or helping their families meet their basic necessities. The break that should offer children freedom and joy has become another daily struggle.
Think about it. No electricity, no light. They're looking for cardboard and things to cook with. They're trying to get water. There's water trucks that go by. And it's in Palestine, which right now in Beirut, Lebanon, which is north, it's hot as hell. So it's hot in Palestine. This is what these Jewish people did. They're the holders of, they're the entrustees of the Torah. These are the most demonic people. This is why that rabbi said that. It's based upon the Kabbalah, and that's not biblical. And they create their own laws, and they murder people unjustly. And these Arabs are going to stand up together. The prophecy said, Ezra, our forefather, saw in a vision through prophetic understanding hundreds and thousands of years ago that this would happen. So we're not surprised when we see this. These Arabs should be enraged. Play on.
أنا بتمنى إنه يتوفر جوال وبتمنى إنه يتوفر ألعاب ورسم.
الولد الصغير بده يلعب، له حق اللعب، حق الحياة، حق التعلم. في أطفال محرومة من هذه الحقوق.
Aid agencies warn that the consequences
That's
go
enough
far.
on that. I just want to show y'all that the level of. Let's go to. This is what. Hang on a sec. This is good. Wait a minute, real quick. Okay. Larry Johnson, number 7. Larry Johnson. Now he's an Edomite, and this Edomite is. They'll never let him on mainstream media. This is Larry Johnson on Judge. Another Edomite, is also talking about what this means. The largest gathering in history, what it means. Number 7.
Now with this.
And by the way, he's a former. So this is a guy that was in the CIA. He was an analyst. He used to analyze data and things like that. So now he's part of the Central Intelligence Agency, talking about. Now he basically blows up America's spot. Right. That's why he probably has a tense on his life, like Scott Ritter. But watch what he says.
With this funeral of the Ayatollah Khamenei, this is historic, not just in terms of Iran's history. This is historic in terms of world history. And I'm not talking just in the last 25 years or the last 125 years or the last 425 years. We have never seen a funeral this large, on this scale, with this many people, with this many world leaders involved. Never. Not with the death of John Fitzgerald Kennedy or the death of Charles de Gaulle or the death of Mahatma Gandhi. That this is what we're witnessing is an unprecedented moment in history. If you look at the Guinness Book of World Records, the previous record for the largest funeral was that of the burial of the Ayatollah Khomeini back in 1989. So this moment, the combination of the war that started on the 28th and this moment of the burial of the Ayatollah is changing an entire generation. It's creating a generational memory that the people right now, those young men and women who are 15, 16 years old, they are going to remember this moment with a clarity and a firmness that they've never forgotten. I draw upon my own experience. I was 8 years old in 1963 when John F. Kennedy was killed, but I can tell you exactly where I was. I remember it to this day. And it does affect one's view of reality going forward. So in this sense, the U.S. attack on Iran has been a complete abject failure in terms of weakening Iran. And in fact, in my view, it's had the exact opposite effect. It has strengthened Iran. It has created Iran, laid the foundation for it to be the preeminent power in West Asia.
Pause. Real quick, I got a couple more. Get number 11. Here's another former CIA analyst who's a white woman. So let's see what she says about Trump and this war. Again, who better than the Central Intelligence Agency's former members to speak about their country?
This is just Trump trying to cover up the fact that, as Professor Morandi has told us numerous times, he's lost this war. He's lost this war, and he's trying to cover it up. And he's in Turkey in front of his NATO friends.
Now
and
pause.
perhaps
We're gonna go if we have time. Turkey is, by the way, Trump tried to son Erdogan. Erdogan is like 6'5". Trump's 6'2". Erdogan stands taller than Trump. Erdogan did something, and that's why go back to if you can pull up the thumbnail of the show. I'm gonna make a prediction right now. Okay, it says, remember the two things I got to align. Remember, the Arabs have to unite together as one, and the Iranians are going to come out. And the 10 horns have to hate the whore. That's why Mikhail put that up in the upper right-hand corner. I want you to understand that Erdogan is running Turkey. Turkey is an Islamic country. I believe it's the only Islamic country in NATO. Erdogan did something very interesting while Trump and them were meeting. Matter of fact, pull up the one on Erdogan. Turkish president, let me get the number for you. Oh gosh, let me get it. Yes, 16. It's an article. This might have slipped by somebody. I wonder why the Turkish president gave a gift to every member of NATO. It was a revolver with 6 rounds to every. At first, I'm like, well, maybe it's just a nice gift. There's something behind that, man. And you know why? The Israelis said that Turkey is the next Iran. But Turkey is a part of NATO. I'm telling you, the Mossad are going to move things around. Read the article real quick. Watch what Erdogan did. No one's talking about this.
NATO leaders surprised by Turkish president's gift of guns after summit. Recep Tayyip
Don't worry about
Erdogan.
it. Let's scroll down because we're getting ready to close out in a half hour. Just scroll up, brothers. Start from what does a world leader? Here we go.
What does a world leader do with a gun and 6 bullets? That was the conundrum NATO leaders faced after the Turkish president offered them each a revolver after the Ankara summit.
Pull up, while on the side, if you could pull up Ankara summit 2026. These are NATO, a lot of stuff was going down. No one's paying attention to this. All these NATO leaders are coming, and Trump was going off, but this part here was very unique. And if anybody knows anything about Turkey, Turkey is the largest military in NATO. They have the most powerful drone fleet. They're supreme and superior in drone warfare. If you can pull up Ankara Summit whenever you get a chance. Read on.
Keir Starmer was the first to mention the highly unusual gift presented by Recep Tayyip Erdogan to his guests on the flight back from Ankara, where NATO leaders had gathered for 2 days.
Interesting. They met in Ankara, and Erdogan gave them gifts. Who gives gifts? Hosts give gifts, right? Pull up Ankara Summit. Erdogan, and sounds like an Islamic name. Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Interesting. Pull up the summit, man. Come on, let me send it to you. Just a regular Google search would be good. There we go.
2026 Ankara NATO Summit.
Okay. I want to find a location. Wait a minute. Was that in Turkey? Interesting. No one's talking about it wasn't in Switzerland. It wasn't in Germany. It wasn't in France. They held NATO in an Islamic country called Turkey. And while that happened, simultaneously, the largest gathering in the history of mankind of an Islamic leader. I wonder if Erdogan was sad about that. Type in Erdogan's religion. Y'all got to start seeing this stuff, man. And then he gives all of the NATO leaders who were, I can guarantee you, almost every single one of them is Christian, and he gave them a revolver with 6 rounds. He was hosting that.
The Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, is a practicing Muslim.
So, if he's a practicing Muslim, I wonder if his mind was on the death of that supreme leader. 100%. So I'm just showing you that God is moving, the Most High God is moving everything to a final war. Turkey is not going to be with these other white countries. I'm telling you right now. Now, I don't know if it was symbolic or not, but I believe God is doing something. Because you think some of them white boys is like, yeah, why are you giving us a gun? We're coming to Turkey, and he's giving us a gun with 6 bullets. It's something you got to see. Something's coming. Remember, the Israelis are treating Turkey like the next major thing that's going to be a problem. Pull up a map of the Middle East or the Persian Gulf. Let's look at the relationship between Turkey, Jordan, Israel, and Palestine. Look how close they are.
Didn't Officer Mikael say something about
Let me ask you,
Turkey
we got a
being-
new computer. What takes so long to switch screens? Go ahead, Solomon. Go ahead, bro.
Didn't you say something about Turkey being the next Iran?
Cap was bringing that out about Turkey being the next Iran.
Oh, okay. I know I
But,
heard it.
Yeah, it was. We definitely just said that just a moment ago.
Hey, well, if that's the case, then Israel's definitely gonna have something to do with that.
If we
It's gonna
could
be behind it.
please pull that up. I know it's late, y'all. We're all tired. Perfect. Let's look at that. So Turkey, isn't it very interesting right now that look at Turkey in your maroon. Directly south is a country called Syria. Turkey shares a border with Iran. Turkey also shares a border with Iraq. Islam. And the largest border is with Syria. Guess who right now is encroaching on Syria? Israel and the United States. Why would Turkey, who's in NATO, the only Islamic that I'm aware of, the only Islamic country, look at the size of Turkey, in all of the Middle East. It is technically the Middle East, and it's Mediterranean. Erdogan has a hosted NATO event and gives all of the NATO leaders guns with rounds. Interesting. I'm telling y'all, Israel, look at Israel, look at the Jerusalem, you see the Suez Canal, Syria, all of that, they want part of Turkey as well. And Iraq, all that. And they got a border with Iran. So that means some of the Turks that live around the Turkey-Iran border, a lot of them are people. You think a border, some of them are close. Just like Russia and Ukraine, they have some Russians that live over there. They have ties to that land. I want you to see, you listeners at home, God is moving all these things around. That little ass country, Israel, which is our homeland, inhabited by 6 to 7 million Israeli Zionists, are causing havoc in that whole area. God, I'm telling you, to create what God's about to create, he had to do it like this. What? All of these countries, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Kuwait, I'm talking about the citizens. I'm talking about the elite families. Oman, Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, all of them, Turkey, they all can't stand that little ass country, Israel. The Lord gonna bring a special judgment to these people. All right, go back. Where was that? Did you get that? I forgot what I told you to get. It was an article, right?
Yeah,
16.
we were reading the article.
Go back to that. Where was that? We're almost done.
Okay. So Keir Starmer was the first to mention the highly unusual gift presented by Recep Tayyip Erdogan to his guests on the flight back from Ankara, where NATO leaders had gathered for 2 days. The British Prime Minister said he and others had received a revolver engraved with their name.
Why would somebody give a revolver to someone engraved in their names? You come and visit an Islamic country, one of the leaders and heroes of the Islamic world. You are responsible. NATO, they all work together. NATO, and they're all, eventually the horns are going to hate though, but they're all together. It's a message. It's a message. Read on.
Alongside the gun, sitting in a red box lined in black, were 6 live
Why
rounds.
would the box be red? I want you to do me a favor. Go up to, oh gosh, bear with me, y'all. Get me number 13. Al Jazeera, short. In that crowd, they're not going to show you the American media. Trump actually said it because he doesn't have a political filter on his body. In that crowd, after the coffin went around, because they passed Ayatollah Khomeini's coffin on top through the crowd, they also had signs about Donald Trump. I'm talking about millions of people had red flags, red flags. Play that or read that. Ooh, wait, stop. This is the same crowd that's been going on procession for days. These are the Iranians and other people there talking about redemption in red. Red means redeem, redemption, get back, revenge. Again, why would you hand bullets in a red damn box? This is how ignorant the U.S. is. Donald Trump didn't even know that the supreme leader was loved. He made a joke. I didn't even know. I didn't know they were crying. Were they fake tears? Play this. Watch this. Pause. Stop. I was blown away with this. I want you to look at the size of this flag. Look, if you look at one person holding it, they're all holding it. That flag, just from looking at it right now, is probably about 20 by 50 feet. It's a huge flag. Look at the people look at how small the people are. That means they had to coordinate. They had to work together to hold it up a certain thing. They all had the same mind to keep that up. Why do they keep it up? They want people above that's taking drone aerial pictures of that. They want it to get out. They all have that mind. God is bringing them all together. And guess what? If these are the Armenians doing that, don't you think Arabs are going to be like, yo, they mad as hell. We on the brink of, more of us died than they, and look at how they're going to give courage and they're going to empower these Arabs. Play on. It's bigger than that. Look at the size of that flag. That flag is huge. Play on. Now, get the one about Trump. Trump understands he crossed a couple of lines that he wished he could go back through. Get number 9. Trump, baby. Donald Trump, he might be a little worried because they have, I'll say this. He says this, not us.
And the thing is, you think he should remember, I would keep those smart, military-minded people around me that knows that Ishmael, he shall be a wild man. Yep. But he let all them, like his chief, that guy quit. Then your other colonel, generals are walking off the job, they getting fired. Who does he have around him to keep reminding him, hey, these people, they wild. Allah Akbar, and they just set it off. But
Joe Kent tried to tell him. Joe Kent had to retire. Joe Kent, former Army Ranger, former Green Beret, combat, CIA, special paramilitary, all of that, and he didn't listen to Joe Kent. Trump, baby, number 9. This is a Sky News, Australian news.
Sky News. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is number 1 on the kill list for Iran.
There should be a video. I want you to see the way he talks. Yes, here it is. Look at Orange Man. Yo, you could, hey, is that me? He got some orange paint on his face.
Nah, that's him.
Watch what our boy says. Donald Trump. He says this about himself. Watch this.
It's a very dangerous profession. No, I'm number one on the kill list for Iran. They're lovely people. I'm number one. So I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I don't really care because I'm doing my job and I'm doing it, I hope, better than anybody's ever done it. Because we have a country.
So he's got an international target on him, and he flips it to no one's ever done this job as good as him. You got it. The guy he's consistent. Donald Trump is a consistent. I think he's beyond narcissist. I think you got to come up with a different term for this guy.
But Cap, this guy, he's number one in everything. I mean, he's talking about how he's the number one. Hey,
Nobody wants to kill me. Nobody wants to kill anyone more than me. I would be killed more than anybody in the history of the world.
He says, I'm number one on their kill list. They're lovely people. I don't really care. You don't really care, but you just got a new Air Force One from Qatar that you gave back.
Right.
Because you want to fly the old one because you're worried about them killing you.
Hey, he did give it back because when he flew home from Turkey, he was on the old plane.
Right.
Hey, that's a good point. Look, rewind it from the top. Watch what Trump says. Everything is grandiose. So is he bragging about being the number one guy to be killed?
Wait, he already said that he's number one on what's that, Instagram? No, TikTok. TikTok, I'm the number one in TikTok.
That's what they're telling me. Play, watch this.
It's a very dangerous profession. No, I'm number one on the kill list for
That ain't the list you want to be number one on.
Lovely people. I'm number one. So I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I don't really care because I'm doing my job and I'm doing it, I hope, better than anybody's ever done it because we have a country that's hot and really, really successful. But I mention it only because it's on the list. I mean, it came out. There was another list came out yesterday, and I'm number one on. I like being number one on TikTok better, but I'm number one on the list for killing.
What's wrong with this dude?
He said we have a country that's hot and very successful, yet, like I was talking about my brother earlier today, a can of tuna is $8.
Yeah, but we know what.
But we're successful right now.
Hey, check this out. Number 14. This is heavy. So I think this is an East Indian man, and he's talking about the supreme leader, right? And it's only a 2-minute video. It has multiple levels of meaning that Donald Trump is going to miss it. His Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth, these guys are going to miss all of that. This is why you need a guy like Scott Ritter, Colonel McGregor, Professor Morandi advising you, hey, Trump, you might not want to do this. Donald Trump, do you know that this is the biggest funeral ever? So what do you mean? They liked the guy? You told me they didn't like the guy. And I'm telling you, and now he's got people, he got a 20 by the largest flag ever. Kill Donald Trump is being organized without, they didn't even practice it. They all just put it up at one time.
Hey, Kev, he's probably upset that is the largest funeral ever. So he's going to have to try to, he wants to top it.
He wants to top it.
I want the largest gathering ever. This will do. We'll pay everyone $50. We'll get them. I'll be in the Guinness, but can I be in it? I want to be in it. I want to beat Ayatollah Khomeini's funeral. He would probably do something like that. You know, they're about to name an airport or something after him.
I think they did already.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Okay, real quick. Let's get that other one. I got to keep us on track because this is the Supreme, number 14.
This isn't how you bury a supreme leader. This is how you hold a masterclass in political messaging. The funeral of Iran's former supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khomeini.
Pause. Look at the size of that picture. Let's look at the size of that arch. Look at the size. Say the average person is about 5'10". Look at that. Look at the people at the base of there. The lower arch. The lower arch look like it's about 25 feet. Look at the upper arch. Now look at the size of the picture. Look at how much effort it took to put. That's not digital.
Yeah,
speak on it.
I was thinking that, Cap. Think of the coordination and the logistics that went into putting that picture up.
Yep.
You had to have scaffolding. If it's not digital, how do you get that up there? That has been going on that took days to do that. Oh, yeah. Okay, and if it's a flag that they dropped, who made the flag? How long did it take them to do that? There's a lot of care that went into this funeral. These people, he was a hero, a martyr to the people of Iran and to the greater Arab world. Why? Because he spoke fluent Arab. Okay, play on.
This isn't how you bury a supreme leader. This is how you hold a masterclass in political messaging. The funeral of Iran's former supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is all about the message. I'm Arup Ghosh. Khamenei was killed on February 28, the first day of the US-Israeli air campaign against Iran. Tehran has now turned his funeral into the first major political event of the post-war era. Every image appears carefully chosen. The first message is for Iranians. The streets packed with mourners, the red flags, the chants of revenge. The state wants
Pause,
to
I have to remind you, you don't think that some people from Turkey was there? Let us remind you that they share a border and they share a religion. And it's very interesting how President Erdogan had a meeting in Turkey hosting the NATO leaders, gave them a revolver with a red box with 6 bullets. I think a lot of people, oh, he's just a great host. He just cares about the NATO. No. Play on.
Idea above everything else. Our leader is gone, but the Islamic Republic is still standing. The second message is for Washington. Donald Trump reportedly looked at TV footage of the funeral and remarked, I thought people hated Khamenei. Maybe it's fake tears. Tehran responded with pictures.
You heard what he said? This guy, listen, if he's, let's put it in perspective, right? In the civilian side of the house, he's the executive branch. Military side of the house, he is above a 4-star general. He is the top commander-in-chief. You have to have the best intelligence around you. He's looking so damn ignorant. He actually said he didn't even know that they liked the guy. You have no intelligence. The largest outdoor gathering, funeral in the history of mankind. People loved this guy. Look at all the coordination happened in that funeral. He realizes that I'm getting bad information. And he's starting to realize that here's the thing. He can't do anything about it. He's already in the war. He's going to take full responsibility, and he is a puppet of the Israeli government right now. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. Play on.
Images travel faster than explanations. Millions lining the streets create a far more powerful headline than any official statement. Then comes the regional messaging. Reports suggest Iran appeared to welcome different...
This is important. Pull up a map of the Persian Gulf again. The same map you had before. Make it easier on yourself, please. Same map you had before. Shouldn't be that. I mean, all we're doing is just put screen to screen out. I may not understand.
He said maybe it's fake tears.
I wonder who his public relations or public affairs person is, because he be just saying some. He probably fired me. Yeah.
He needs to.
So we're up there, and I forgot why we went here because it took so long. What were we talking about earlier? I asked to get a
Iran's
map.
about to welcome in certain countries.
Yes. So he said the region. That was a guy from India. He's reporting. He said there's a regional message that Iran is sending. Who is the region it's sending to? The region of the Persian Gulf. All these Arab countries, who, yes, Saudi Arabia, look at the size of Saudi Arabia. It's a little bit bigger than Iran. The vast majority of the citizens of Saudi Arabia are not trillionaires and billionaires like these oil tycoons, like these Saudi princes. They're average people. They are looking at Iran like they're the heroes. And Saudi Arabia, Iraq, all of them have the same religion. Now, there's Shia and Sunni, but the bottom line, they're still of Islam. Okay, so they are united in that respect. So the regional message is we're going to stand up against these tyrannical, colonial, evil men of the Israelis and the U.S. government and NATO to a certain extent. And all that's going to go on, and that's going to be the identifying marker that everybody else is going to stand up. That's the regional message. Play on. Thank you. I think I'm just an impatient person. This is taking forever.
This isn't how you bury a supreme leader. This is how you hold a masterclass in political messaging. The funeral of Iran's former supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is all about the message. I'm Arup Ghosh. Khamenei was killed on February 28, the first day of the US-Israeli air campaign against Iran. Tehran has now turned his funeral into the first major political event of the post-war era. Every image appears carefully chosen. The first message is for Iranians. The streets packed with mourners, the red flags, the chants of revenge. The state wants to project one idea above everything else. Our leader is gone, but the Islamic Republic is still standing. The second message is for Washington. Donald Trump reportedly looked at TV footage of the funeral and remarked, "I thought people hated Khamenei. Maybe it's fake tears." Tehran responded with pictures. The regime knows images travel faster than explanations. Millions lining the streets create a far more powerful headline than any official statement. Then comes the regional messaging. Reports suggest Iran appeared to welcome different foreign delegations with different Quranic verses. For countries such as India, Russia, and China,
Pause. This is important. You heard what he said? He said, well, he welcomed with different Quranic, meaning the Quran. So China, India, Russia, and Saudi Arabia has something to say. Listen to this. So at this funeral, you had Russian delegates, you had Chinese delegates, you had Indian delegates, all part of BRICS. Interesting. GDP larger than G7. Play on.
Reportedly focused on remembrance. For Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Taliban, the theme was martyrdom. Saudi Arabia received the most interesting choice. A verse recalling the Battle of Badr, where a vastly outnumbered Muslim force defeated a much larger army. The battle took place in what is now Saudi Arabia. Officially, Tehran can say it is invoking one of Islam's defining moments. Unofficially, the symbolism is harder to miss. Power, wealth, bigger armies, powerful allies, none of them guarantee victory. Saudi Arabia has denied reports that it backed the strikes on Iran, but choosing Badr for the Saudi delegation ensured the symbolism would be noticed. And finally, there is the man nobody saw. 3 of Khamenei's sons appeared beside the coffin. His successor, Mujtaba Khamenei, did not. If he appeared injured, it could invite questions about the leadership strength. If he remains unseen, speculation only grows. Tehran kept the cameras on the dead supreme leader, kept the world's attention away from the living one, because this funeral is Iran's opening statement after the war.
That's heavy. We get ready to close out after the next one. Get me Professor Morandi clip number 1. There's a bunch of stuff I wanted to get. We don't have time for that. There was a whole nother thing we're going to get into about Greenland. Give me the first timestamp from Professor Morandi on George Galloway, number 19. We do not. If y'all get a chance, I want you to y'all look at what happened with NATO. Donald Trump brought up Greenland again. Officer Micah brought up in the beginning. He's trying to cut off trading with Spain and causing a lot of waves in that NATO meeting in Turkey. So there was a lot of things that were going on, and one of the things is going back to the Donroe Doctrine, where he tries to secure Greenland, Canada, that whole Western shore. He's still bringing it up. Again, that's very divisive to Denmark, who owns. And remember that if they went to war with Denmark, it would evoke Article 51, and they talked about the Denmark Special Forces going to Greenland to defend it. So that's going to be part of the disruption that the horns, the 10 horns, are going to hate the whore. Last one. Let's play that. We're going to close out.
Trial today, George, was unprecedented. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I live in a country where we have many very large rallies. General Soleimani, when he was martyred, huge. Imam Khomeini, when he passed away in 1989, it was massive. President Raisi, when he was killed in the helicopter crash, whether it was an accident or not, I still don't know. Crowds were massive, but this was something altogether different. I left for home almost 3 hours before the prayers this morning, and I couldn't get there. And I was stuck with hundreds of thousands of other people in the south part of the complex, to the south of the complex, and we just couldn't get around it to be a part of the prayers. That just shows how massive it was. Many millions of people. And the crowd was, we couldn't move. And it's right behind the complex. I maybe you could tell through the lights. So this was an extraordinary show of force. I mean, huge compassion for the leader, his family. You could see that emotions were running high. And it's been going on since yesterday. Since yesterday morning, people were coming. I actually went with a couple of our good friends that you mentioned yesterday to the Mosalla. And today I went again for the prayer. And crowds just keep coming and going. Tomorrow is the funeral procession. So it will go from the east of the city to the west, the procession with the martyrs, Ayatollah Khamenei and his family members, his granddaughter, 1-year-old son-in-law, and one of his son-in-laws and one of his daughters were martyred. They were not husband and wife, but in any case, the procession, I imagine, will be massive as well. This is probably the largest gathering, I think the largest funeral in history, human history. And it's sending a message to the United States as well and to the Israeli regime. And yes, you're right. People would come up to me and speak about the need for revenge. Some people who know me from media. And you could see people with their own with their own posters and their own, they're holding up banners saying that demanding revenge. And it's clear that the Iranians feel that there is a need to punish the aggressors. Now,
okay, in the interest of time, we got to cut short, y'all. It's been 2 hours. Here's the hidden message or the underlying message of tonight's show. What they did, and when they killed Ayatollah, I'm saying his name, Dr. Saeed, the supreme leader, they opened up a whole revolution that was bigger than the one in 1979. He said earlier, one of the guys said, people are going to remember this for the rest of their lives. This generation of Arabs see the Iranians as heroes. They stood up against the great Satan, as they're called. And we got to continue to watch the news, watch what's going on between the EU and between the United States. Watch how the Israeli what happened to the MOU? It was 2 weeks ago. It was signed. It was supposed to be set. We thought there was a ceasefire. The Strait was going to. Now guess who controls the Strait again? Iran. Gas was $3.14 where we're at. It jumped back up to $3.39. Now it dropped a little bit. It's going to slowly go up and down like that. We did a show last week or the week before. The strategic oil reserves in the United States are becoming historically low. They have not been this low since the early 80s, 1980s. Keep in mind, all these things happen, these prophetical events that happen. They're for us to understand that we live in the last days. So that's it, y'all. Look, we on time. Booster Club, we got to fix this. Booster Club, PayPal, a text give to 646-982-3858. Check out the PayPal. Look, I want to say to the camera, those of you who donate to the Booster Club, we thank you for everything you do. We know some of you live hours away. We know some of you may not be able to get to the school, but the Lord has put on your spirit to help the Booster Club. And what's going on by you doing that, the result and the manifestation of your faith, which is your action, this is why we're going on hundreds of missions to countries to help feed the sheep, feed them with the word of God. And we're going to continue to do these things. So we thank you so much, Booster Club. Continue to donate as the Most High move your spirit, and we appreciate y'all. So look, we ran on time. Tech guys will be happy we get out right after 2 hours. So with that, we're Precept upon Precept. My name is Captain Shem, y'all.
Officer Micah.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Solomon.
And with that, we say shalom.
You're never going to see this on any mainstream news.
This ain't what you want, this is what you need. Ain't never forget. Yeah, they made us slaves, hung our kids from trees. I never forget. Nooses on our neck, whipped us till we bleed. And they gotta get it. Hey man, call it Galatians 3:13.
You're now tuned in to Precept upon Precept.
Fruit so strange,
Look at how low they hang. Oh man, took out the chains. So when the wind blow, we just swing. Much oppression, never kill 'em. Drinking dreams that is bitter. Ready, set, pull a trigger. Send a postcard.